We're back on 11 of the last 20, and before we dive into the top 3 wrestlers on our countdown, we have to recognize another group of grapplers who had fantastic careers in their own right, but just missed out on our list.
We move on to 275, and Marcus Zimmerman, a classic wrestler as well.
Big, powerful man.
Here we go, 138. We have our third Zemer of the night. It's Zach Zemer.
So Zach comes in at 12-4. He's a senior, very accomplished.
He's gonna turn him there. His head's down, in trouble.
So he does turn him and he does deck him. 326, the fall for Eric Resch.
Tom Devaney, the senior, at 20-1. It's quite a tall task going against the league champion.
Tom Devaney is expected to medal in the state tournament.
As we move on to 152, this will be Nick Rock for the mounts.
Well, this is Ephrata's big gun here.
Yep,
Nick
it
Rock,
is.
13-1. Ephrata all-time winner.
Now this is Shane Hyman from
Yeah, it
Ephrata.
sure is. So Hyman did move up to 35 then.
Yep, yes he did.
To take on Martins. And we move on to 140, Matt Fittery. Matt, as you mentioned earlier, tremendous year going at 22-1.
And we go to 120, where Josiah Gear, the senior, one of Cocalico's all-time great wrestlers. He's 19-4 this year.
Zurich Storm of New Oxford, 24-0. A junior.
Oh, here we go. Ben Swar from Garden Spot out on the mat tonight. Swar Jr. at 13-1.
Number 3, Mannheim Central's Will Betancourt, Barron's all-time leader in wins, 3-time state medalist, 2020 state champion.
Will Betancourt is probably the most old-school modern wrestler I could talk about. One of the most physical wrestlers I've ever seen.
Very tough wrestler. You knew that early on in his career that he was going to be a great one, and he was always a pleasure to watch.
So Will Betancourt, 132 wins.
Quite a feat, folks.
Will was one of the most determined wrestlers I've ever seen, one of the most calm wrestlers on the mat. And when he was out there, nothing rattled him. 4-time LL champ, 4-time District 3 champion. A wrestler like Will comes along once a generation, really.
Very tough from all 3 positions, probably is the biggest thing. Tough on top, hard to score on his feet. It was great to see him win the state title this year, and definitely wishing him well at Lock Haven.
He was, so focused, on winning that state title. To see him win that as a senior, you just felt so good for the kid because you knew all the work he had put into it.
So exciting to see what he did in his final senior season to finally culminate with that state championship, and all the hard work he put in, time, effort, in season, off season, just a real talented and special kid.
The dream season, his senior season, state championship, battling with some injuries senior year, that really came through and really propelled him to his state championship, which, he goes down as one of the best wrestlers in the LL ever.
We always put being a state champ on a pedestal. One of the things growing up is you look at this ability to be a state champ, and a lot of times kids will put it on a certain pedestal that even if they're that ability to get there, they just don't think they can achieve that momentous achievement. And fortunately, Will realized it his senior year. And when he finally realized it, he lit it up there. He looked amazing and he never stopped and he went after it, and he earned that more than anyone I've seen in a long time.
But the thing about Will that impresses me the most, he only gave up bonus points one time in his career. He was major decisioned. He was never pinned. He was never tech-falled. In his high school career, it was all just domination from Will Betancourt.
Number 2, Garden Spot's Steve Borgia, 2-time state medalist, 2002 state champion.
Borgia was a phenomenal athlete. And with that, you normally, with an athlete in wrestling, you don't see them the physical type. They're the technique type. But Borgia, when he got on the mat, he had an amazing inside trip. He loved to put the pressure on you.
Obviously, good quick foot, good inside trip, and some trip series that he does. He's definitely a great competitor.
He was good from all positions. Very athletic. I'm sure he could have excelled at just about any sport he put his mind to.
His first 2 seasons had 3 matches, and then his junior year went all the way to the state finals. Senior year won it. He was just one of those guys who, a late bloomer, I guess, and really dominated close matches.
You don't see too many wrestlers who run through a regular season undefeated.
Steve Borgia at a garden spot, 36-0 at 171.
And then continue that into the postseason and not lose a match in the postseason, which is what he did as a senior at Garden Spot.
And it was awesome to see when he had won his first state title for Garden Spot. It wasn't something that came unexpected, you know. He was the top dog to beat, and he showed it the whole tournament.
Not much time left, and it's over. Steve Borgia of Garden Spot has won it.
Steve Borgia Jr., obviously undefeated state champ in 2002. Incredible. But he's one of the few wrestlers that have transitioned from fantastic wrestler to fantastic coach. And not everybody can do that. He's coached at Millersville, F&M, Manheim Central High School, and of course with Law, the Lancaster Alliance Wrestling here in the city, and with women's wrestling too at Law. Great wrestler, now great coach, and hopefully he'll continue giving his knowledge to those wrestlers that'll come after us.
Number 1, Manheim Central's Jordan Ank, two-time state medalist, 2008 state champion.
Jordan Ank is in the tradition of all these Manheim Central great athletes that have been up top. They've had some great state champions, and I think we got another one here with Jordan Ank.
With Jordan, he's the most athletic person I think I've ever met. I don't care what sport he would have done. If he'd have chose swimming, he'd have been one of the best in the state or the country. If he'd have chose basketball, baseball, football, he, even today, at 30 years old, I'll put him against anybody with just his size.
That's it. Real tough guy.
Jordan Ank was a big guy who wrestled like a 145-pounder. Very athletic.
He was one of the kids that, as head coach at Penn State, our recruiters were looking at him. Big body, big guy, tough kid. I just remember my assistant coaches were coming back saying, we need to take a look at this guy.
Amazing quickness. He would beat anyone on their feet, had a great low ankle, and was really good on top with a tilt.
He was another kid who had just a great work ethic and just so focused and dedicated on the sport.
The thing I remember about him was, as a heavyweight, he caught people off guard with a very unusual shin tilt. He'd come out to the side riding referee's position, and his rear foot would come underneath the guy's shin, and he'd arm chop and just tilt him over really slick. So that's really highly technical for an upper weight, and of course went on to state title. Certainly one of Manheim's best over the string of years of many state champions.
Tall kid, lanky kid, and boy did he use that to his advantage. 2 trips to the state finals, one in his senior year.
Jordan Ank will hold on the 5-2 win and wins a championship at 215.
And all his hard work paid off.
So there you have it, Manheim Central's Jordan Ank, one of the best wrestlers in our coverage area and number 1 on our list. Thanks so much for joining us today on 11 of the Last 20. I'm Chad Landers. Come back next time as we dive deep into a new sport and start to count down once again to see who's number 1.